Now we are in the game. The map will be Whirlwind. The matchup will be Protoss versus Terran.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Starting off the ICY CUP, man.
The very first game of the ICY CUP. This is it in the top left-hand corner. Representing Team Root, wearing the color red. The Terran, one of the Terran hopefuls, it is Root MaSa.
Am I following the camera yet?
Just play by your own rules.
There we go. All right, and spawning in the bottom left, right. Oh, I did it again. Bottom right-hand corner of Whirlwind. I do this every single time.
I'm going to put little signs here that say right.
Exactly. Is our yellow Protoss. It is OneTrickPony.
OneTrickPony coming out from the Toronto area, not very far. Same with MaSa. Both these players are Toronto located. Both these players want to win the first prize, $1,000 on the line for first place, $2,000 prize pool. Protoss versus Terran. Songers, how do you feel about this matchup on this map?
Well, you know, PvT, it's really come down to right now is the type of harass that Terran can do. I mean, you have all these new options. You have Widow Mines, you have Hellbats, and now with the cheaper Banshees, you have those as well. And just the amount of like harass damage you can do. And Protoss, compared to all the other two races, is the hardest race to be able to come back from economic damage.
I see what you mean. I'm sure people in chat are just going to explode with anger towards you. You sound like a Protoss homer, but yeah, I see Protoss sometimes the way they like to play this matchup is they just try to endure, weather the storm for as long as they can until they finally get to that army that is so unstoppable, especially in the late game. So we'll see how these two players decide to play it out. We do see that OneTrickPony is sending his probe out across the map. Looks like he's going directly to that cross spawn location unless he decides to turn left now. Yes, he is. So he will be looking in a clockwise fashion. It will take him a little while to follow MaSa, but MaSa isn't scouting at all. Nope. Feels like this will just be a straight-up game by our Protoss opponent.
I mean, all he really needs to do... I mean, Whirlwind's such a big map, you can really just do anything and pretty much safe, unless you're playing some sort of metagame. But this is the first game between both of these players.
Yeah.
So... You know, maybe this one they'll play standard. Yeah, feel each other out, and then the next game, maybe I'll do something sneaky. You can see that MaSa is going to get his gas. Most likely going to be opening with a Reaper just to get that scout out. And with the, right now, he is sending that SCV, though. Yeah,
so that SCV is going to go for a little scout. He actually opted for a Marine going into a fast factory play. So this might be going directly into Banshees, might be getting a quick start port right after this, and then moving into the harassment. And only 100 minerals and 100 gas to get cloaking now on Banshees, so it's a completely strong option. We'll see how a OneTrickPony does decide to play this out. He is getting a Cyber Core, so we'll see what he decides to do after this for detection. Will he go Robo? Will he go for Phoenix? Or sorry, Stargate. Stargate.
Yeah, it's actually interesting to see if he even cancels his Zealot to get a faster Nexus. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. It looks like it is rallied all the way across the map to his opponent's base. Oh, nope, just going to change your rally point right there. Zealot does finish, so he's going to be starting to scatter out. See if there's any SCV just around the natural, and now getting a Warp Gate and the Mothership Core.
Yeah, and there's that Starport, so we'll see what MaSa decides to do with this. He is getting a Widow Mine probably just for defense to make sure that there's no crazy bust, unless he actually wants to drop these Widow Mines. I mean, that's still oh so popular and oh so effective against these shielded units that are the Protoss. A Stalker is coming out for the Protoss player, and the Zealot going to go up probably just to harass a little bit and force a little bit of response out of MaSa, and just to make sure that it wasn't a light wall. And this SCV is actually going to get in here and get a pretty good scout. He's not going to see too much except for the assimilators. He's going to know how many units are on that gas and know exactly how much gas his opponent is mining. And now that SCV does go down, so the scouting potential is over. Here comes the Widow Mine to join 4 Marines at the bottom of the natural ramp. They do deflect this Zealot, but the Auspicious Shields do defend it from taking any hull damage.
Yeah, the Zealot now at least knows where MaSa is spawning on the map. You can check his vision right now. You can see that was his first scout in all of the game. First Hellion is now out on the map, going to be moving across. And it looks like this is going to be a little push coming out from MaSa here, just to put the aggression onto his opponent, make sure he can't just freely tech up and do whatever he wants. You see the Nexus now almost halfway done for OneTrickPony as the Zealot and his Stalker now run back to the base.
So having that early Mothership Core is going to be crucial here because he's probably going to need that planetary Nexus very soon. He needs to be good with his Stalker and use the extra range afforded by his Stalker over the Marine so that he can defend as much as he can. He's trying to focus down the Widow Mine. The Zealot comes to help as well. Here comes a Hellion. This is a little bit of a scary force. The CC is only now coming down for a Terran player, so he is not doing any crazy one-base play. He does expand after this, but he needs to make this count a little bit because this is a little bit of aggression. He doesn't want to lose all these units. The Stalker is getting down to hull damage. This probe dies. This Nexus is almost down. Mothership Core getting in a position to turn on Photon Overcharge. Widow Mine is down. Robotics Facility is almost done. He will be able to get a... You know, no, the Mothership Core is going to go down to the Marines and it's being targeted down. No, it just gets out in time. So there's the Photon Overcharge, so he will be able to defend this.
Man, that was scary. You could see that how every single unit was so important in that fight. All he had was one Stalker, one Zealot, and now he's getting a one Prism. So, putting the aggression back onto the Terran player. Not even getting Observer first for the Widowmine that's burrowed on the middle of his ramp, meaning that no units can really come down. Gonna send a Pro first to take out that Widowmine hit, and now here we go. 3 Stalkers should be able to kill these ones, but no, the pickup is there, gets the pylon as well. Picks up a little victory for MaSa. That's all he wants right now.
Yeah, that was pretty powerful. He's even going to drop to take out this probe, so good awareness by MaSa. But with that War Prism coming out, this army's going to have to head back to base very quickly in order to defend against the aggression that OneTrickPony no doubt would like to push on his opponent. I like this play coming out by OneTrickPony as well. He didn't panic and get an observer right away, and look at the worker count as well. OneTrickPony has been doing great to stay ahead, and here comes MaSa. He might be able to do some major damage here.
Not sure if that worker advantage is still going to stay, but the Widowmine does get targeted down, takes out Stalker and a probe as well. You can see now the Marines, one Marine left behind, decides to take the Hellion as well. And this Medivac will still get out, so it still poses a threat for the future.
You still see no panic coming out by OneTrickPony, calmly going, staying his course. That Medivac will be annoying. It looks like it's going to go drop in the top corner of the natural base as well. Again, one Hellion's going to come in here with very little HP. It just needs one shot. He's going to try to do as much damage as he possibly can. It does go down. Here comes the War Prism in the back. It's going to drop some units before it goes in, just to quickly drop the units before he has to warp in even more. You do see that a couple Zealots are being warped in. 3 more gates are being produced as well, so it'll be a heavy gateway army coming up by a Protoss player, and still ahead had his expansion a little bit earlier, so the economy for our Protoss is still looking pretty strong.
Yeah, just gates and a Robo right now, not going to any higher tech, so he's really focusing on this drop here. So we have 2 Zealots inside. Sees this 3rd CC, so this is pretty good for him. Knows that Terran's going to be expanding, knows that there's not going to be too much. Oh my gosh, targeting down the tech lab. Stim might not complete. The Zealots have a pretty good surround on it. SCVs are trying to focus it down, but no, he gets the Stim. This is great for OneTrickPony, meaning that no aggression is going to be so delayed for our Terran player here.
Dropping the units right on top of this bio army. These SCVs do not want to engage against those Zealots. Those Zealots will slice through those light units, and now the SCVs have not been mining for a very long time. OneTrickPony has done a great job of disrupting the mining of MaSa. MaSa hasn't incurred too much damage, but look, even in the corner, it looks like OneTrickPony wants to continue this aggression. That's a lot of Zealots and a couple Stalkers also to pick off units. The small force of the Terran might be able to pull this off. SCVs being pulled off the line. War Prism flying over top to pick up if needed. Zealots are slicing their way, doing heavy economy damage. Stalkers are shooting from afar. Will they snipe down the right units? They need to take out these Marines and Marauders. Needs to be careful. And one of the Stalkers gets caught by SCVs, and the drilling cost does take it down. So was that effective? And Stalkers in the front too. There's nobody to defend here. OneTrickPony is all over the map right now.
Yeah, there's just 2-pronged harassment from all these sides. And without Stim, this Protoss Gateway army is still a formidable force versus the Terran. I mean, with Stim done, that's a different story. Those drugs just make you pull that trigger so much faster. We see the +1 Terran infantry armor attack almost complete for MaSa there. Meanwhile, back at base though, it is going to be a single forge play, not a double forge just yet. And Twilight Console coming down.
So we will see that the upgrades for our Protoss will be a little delayed. With Chrono Boost, he'll be able to catch up a little bit, make up some of that lost ground, but he will be playing at a disadvantage with the weapon upgrades for our Terran player. Also, Stim is almost complete. Here comes Armor number 1, which is a very smart move, given that Zealots will be able to tank those attacks by the Terran player so much easier with that +1 armor. Also going for charge. This is very good play coming out by our Protoss player. Is he going to transition to a Zealot charge lot? Charge lot Archon play a little bit, especially with that Twilight going down. I don't see anything to indicate DT or High Templar, but there's got to be a transition coming out soon.
No, for sure.
There it is, High Templar.
Yeah, there you go. So definitely charge lot Archon, but also probably mixing some Storm. He is going for a 3rd base, so it looks like he wants to go for a longer macro type of play here. War Prism still being very active around the map, trying to move around. One Marine trying to take the Watchtower. MaSa's trying to reclaim some of that map control. Does he actually see that War
Prism at the edge? He might have saw it just crest the edge of that circle. So good play by MaSa, good map awareness. And now MaSa actually deciding to put some aggression again on his Protoss opponent. This is a good time to hit it, given that the expansion is coming out, and our Protoss is going to be hard-pressed to defend all the bases, and the mobility afforded by those medevacs is going to be hard to defend against. One cannon is going down somewhere to defend, probably against drops, but this 3rd base is going to be very vulnerable, and here comes the impending army, but also War Prism flying in the back, so we might see that MaSa will have to retreat to defend against this.
This is going to be good. Oh, but the Vikings in position already. Right now, the War Prism with the speed buff can outrun the Viking, but it looks like he's not going to try.
Oh no!
Loses both Stalkers as well, unfortunately. But here comes an attack at the front here. Stalker's going to take out 1 Marine. Observer going to be flying into position, seeing this huge Terran army pushing down on the 3rd base. Storm is not ready. There's 1 Archon in the mix, and this army is actually looking quite small here for OneTrickPony. Here comes
Charge just finished as well. Charge is going to be perfect for this. There is a chrono on that army that's going to be slow, but it's going to get out just in time. Medevacs are healing the units who are just a little bit hurt from the stim, and now without that Warp Prism, our Protoss player has no real harassment potential. He has to reproduce his Mothership core. He does have level 1 weapons on the way. He's trying to secure this third base. He hasn't panicked. He isn't going into full army mode right now. He's still securing this third very calmly, very casually.
Yeah, pretty much typically like Terran getting a third base behind us, but look at that huge Doom drop coming into the back of the base. Does OneTrickPony notice this? No, the boost comes in, down he goes, all of the army gets dropped, and now we have warping by Templar warping in, but just dies instantly. All these probes are going down, going to be targeted by down the Templar Archive. That is huge. Storm was not researched from there. That's going to delay his AoE by so much more, and this Terran army is just going to get stronger and stronger.
Some Zealots are going to charge in here, but they're just walking into a meat grinder. The surface areas are very good. The Nexus goes down. MaSa will probably just pick up and leave immediately. Afterburners are pulled, and now they're going to go to the third base, which is not defended well at all. There's a little attack in the front. Mothership Core is going to get taken down by the Vikings. It doesn't have enough for Proton or Photon overcharge. The rest of these units are going to be able to take out the third base. 2 Nexuses with 1 drop and 1 attack in the front. This is very difficult position for our Protoss player.
MaSa is just playing this map. You know, this is the thing that you're scared of with this map. This area right here on the ledge where you can just drop from the main base to the third base so much freely. And the Protoss player, you know, has a very hard time defending this. We can see right now, OneTrickPony decided, I'm just going to sacrifice that third. I'm going to get my main back up. I have my army here to defend it. But oh no, the probe trade.
Oh no, they're going to get... No, MaSa doesn't realize it. Only now concussive shells do ensure the demise of a couple of those probes. But the rest of this army, this is extremely dangerous. 3 bases for MaSa, not to mention all the mules that he'll be able to call, and our Protoss player is going to be reeling off just 1 base, trying to secure a second base. He's in an extremely difficult position right now. It all started with losing that Warp Prism. He wasn't able to keep MaSa in his base. MaSa knew he had the advantage of map control, was able to push out, be very aggressive, and now you see the army with all the map control.
MaSa's like a lion, man. You got to keep him in his cage. You let him out, he's going to be eating someone up right now. That is what's happening. Finally, we see Blink and Sonic Storm. Blink can be very good to catch those drop. Sonic Storm for a straight up engagement. Hallucinate Phoenix spots this army, sees that it's moving into the natural. And right now, I don't know what OneTrickPony can do to hold this. He has some Templar, but Storm's not ready yet.
AoE at all. Hopefully, he can maybe do some feedbacks on those Medevacs, but that's it. Otherwise, they can turn into an Archon, hopefully. But that army is really strong. I feel that MaSa could push in, but obviously, he doesn't know what we know. There is some proxy pylons across the map, so MaSa does have to be careful of some sort of a warp in the back. More Zealots being warped in and bringing in. The scan shows where the army position is. MaSa might decide to just pick up and go into the main again, knowing that this army is very immobile and slow.
I mean, at the same time, he secured this third. If you look at this third base right now, fully saturated, 21 out of 24. It's even oversaturated. And he's making a wall up, trying to block any Zealots that might charge up in a very comfortable position. You can see our Terran player getting 2-2 right now. Probably going to be teching to Ghost, and there we go. Ghost is already, Academy was already down. Lowest reactor for extra energy, and he has a soft contain on our Protoss player right now.
Yeah, and the third base being put down by our Protoss players actually gets caught, so MaSa very smartly putting putting Marines everywhere to check this. Decides to put 1 Zealot for Ire. The rest of this army is going to come down. There's going to be a huge engagement. There are storms. The storm isn't that good. It's actually on most of the Zealots. He needs to be careful.
That was a nice
some of the army, the good storms on the back. He needs to make these storms count. The rest of these units are getting sliced in the front. These Zealots charging forward for Ire. Another good storm, but it doesn't hit too much. There's a huge army. If only 1 more storm was available, this would get some huge hits, and this army does go down, and OneTrickPony has to. Wow, game number 1 in this best of 3 format does go to the Terran player. 2 root